Welcome, bienvenidos, benvindu, to the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show, part of the SDH network. The only English language show devoted to South America's premier club competition. I'm your host, Howard Hamilton, the founder of Soccermetrics. It's time for the fifth week of the Libertadores group phase. It is decision week, the sixth and final match day of this season's Copa Libertadores group stage. Everything will be confirmed this week. The last 16 of the knockout rounds, the 8 teams who will pass through to the Copa Sudamericana playoffs, and the last 8 who will have to focus on domestic competitions for the rest of the year. In this episode, I will run through the 8 groups and give you the permutations for each one. We start this episode with news from around the Libertadores. And we start with confirmation of the first 2 teams that will participate in the Copa Libertadores in 2027. The first team is Club Olimpia. They were the winners of Paraguay's Apertura tournament by 10 points from Club Nacional and 11 points from Cerro Porteño. Olimpia are 3-time winners of this competition, having won 2 in the 1980s and 1 more in 2002. The Clausura tournament starts after the World Cup on July 24th. The second club, Club Atlético Belgrano of Córdoba. They were the winners of Argentina's Apertura playoff, having defeated River Plate 3-2 in an exciting final in which Belgrano scored twice in the final 5 minutes. This was another Ricardo Zielinski special. Zielinski was manager of Belgrano when they beat River in that famous relegation playoff in 2011, sending River Plate down to the second division for the first time in their history. He defeated River Plate again when he was manager of Atletico Tucumán, denying them a league title. And I believe he had a couple of scalps when he managed Estudiantes de La Plata. So I'm absolutely certain that River Plate want absolutely no part of Zielinski going forward. Second news item involves a betting investigation opened by CONMEBOL. This is a report by TV Globo out of Brazil, and they report that CONMEBOL had been investigating suspicious betting activity surrounding the Independiente Rivadavia versus Fluminense match. That was a match that ended 1-1, match day 4. The report was that there was an abnormal volume of betting observed in a small betting house in Argentina, and that volume occurred after a yellow card presented to Independiente Rivadavia's Tomás Botari in the 36th minute. Independiente Rivadavia themselves had made no comment, and there appears to be nothing that directly relates Botari to said betting activity. That said, investigation is continuing, and as they say, watch this space. Third and final news item involves a new manager at Club Bolívar. On Thursday, Alejandro Restrepo was announced as the new manager, and he was introduced to the press on Sunday. The 44-year-old Colombian has 20 years of managerial history, having managed youth squads since 2004 and managing senior squads since 2019. Clubs such as Atlético Nacional, Deportivo Pereira, who he took into the Libertadores all the way to a quarterfinal appearance, Alianza Lima, and most recently Independiente Medellín. He's taking over from Vladimir Soria, who was the interim manager of Bolívar. The first task for Restrepo, get Bolívar qualified for the last 16 of Libertadores. And we're going to go into the last match day of Libertadores now. Now, match day 6 involves seed number 1 hosting seed number 3 and seed number 2 hosting seed number 4. All matches in each of the 8 groups will be played simultaneously. Groups A, B, and G will be played on Tuesday. Groups C, E, and H will play on Wednesday. Groups D and F will round out the group stage, playing on Thursday. Now let's start the previews with Group A. And for each of these 8 previews, I'm going to run through the permutations and the scenarios for each match. Now in Group A, Flamengo have won the group. They hold the head-to-head tiebreakers, and they have also won the group by virtue of their victory over Estudiantes, and being awarded the points from that match against Independiente Medellin. They have nothing to play for against Cusco, who are guaranteed to finish 4th. As far as the other match, Estudiantes versus Independiente Medellin, the winner of that match will finish 2nd. A draw benefits Independiente Medellin because of the result that they got in the reverse fixture against Estudiantes. Turning now to Group B, where Coquimbo Unido are the one team confirmed in the last 16. If they get a draw in their match against Nacional, they win the group. Now, Tolima can catch Coquimbo, but they need goals and they need help from Nacional. Nacional, for their part, can't finish in the top 2. They can only get to 3rd place. They're currently bottom in the group. Nacional hosts Coquimbo Unido this week, and they need a better result than Universitario, who will host Deportes Tolima. A winner in that match between Universitario and Deportes Tolima will confirm 2nd place for the winner. A draw benefits Tolima, who will finish 2nd. Tolima need a win by at least 2 goals, plus a Coquimbo loss to finish 1st in the group. Group C. Now, Independiente Rivadavia have won the group. Bolivar has the head-to-head tiebreaker versus Fluminense and only need to match Fluminense's result. Fluminense are in a really difficult situation. It helps that they're playing the weakest team in the group in Deportivo La Guaira. La Guaira, for their part, have been more competitive than what you would normally expect out of Venezuelan teams in Copa Libertadores, but you would expect Fluminense to gain a win here. That said, Fluminense need a win, and they need Bolivar not to win against Independiente Rivadavia. A win for the Bolivian side confirms 2nd place for them, but there's a wrinkle to this match because Bolivar have to host this match in Santa Cruz. Because of ongoing social and political unrest in La Paz, CONMEBOL are moving home matches away from La Paz to other locations. That was to the distinct advantage of Always Ready in the previous match day, and we'll see how Bolivar cope with the venue change against Independiente Rivadavia, who have already won the group and have nothing to play for. Now turning to Group D, which is probably the tightest group of all the groups in the Copa Libertadores group stage. We know that Barcelona will finish 4th. They will be out of CONMEBOL competitions after this week. Cruzeiro have the head-to-head advantage with Boca Juniors, but not with Universidad Católica. Universidad Católica, for their part, does not have the head-to-head advantage against Boca. Those 2 teams will meet in the Bombonera in match day 6. This is a must-win match for Boca Juniors after the disappointing draw against Cruzeiro last week. Católica needs at least a point to win the group. Actually, they need only a point to win the group. Cruzeiro hosts Barcelona in the other match, and a must-win scenario for Cruzeiro. A draw in this match means that Cruzeiro would need help elsewhere, that is, a Católica point or win, to ensure passage to the round of 16. In Group E, Corinthians have won the group. and we know that Peñarol are eliminated, but can still finish third. Platense and Santa Fe are tied on aggregate, Santa Fe having scored one fewer goal. That red card that Platense received in their matchday 1 encounter versus Corinthians could still make a difference. Peñarol hosts Santa Fe, which is effectively a playoff for third place, but Santa Fe can still finish second if they earn a win and Platense draw their match versus Corinthians. It's possible that Santa Fe may need to score multiple goals, so it doesn't come down to either goals scored or red cards and yellow cards as a tiebreaker. The other match, as I mentioned, sees Corinthians host Platense. Platense need a win. Corinthians have nothing to play for. Now let's turn to Group F. Cerro Porteño are confirmed in the last 16 and need just a point to guarantee first place. Junior are eliminated, but can still finish in third place. Palmeiras had that shocking home result against Cerro Porteño, but they have the head-to-head advantage versus Sporting Cristal for second place. Palmeiras host Junior in a match in which Palmeiras need just a point to confirm their place in the last 16. A win for them and the loss by Cerro Porteño will confirm first for the Sao Paulo Giants. Cerro Porteño hosts Sporting Cristal in a match in which Sporting Cristal need a win and a Palmeiras loss to clinch second place in the group. That would be a stunning upset if both of those results were to occur. In Group G, we know that Liga de Quito and Mirassol are confirmed for the last 16. They are tied in head-to-head results and on aggregate. Always Ready have the head-to-head advantage versus Lanús for third place in the group. Liga de Quito are hosting Always Ready in the last match of this group stage. A multi-goal win by Liga de Quito and a Mirassol loss means that Liga de Quito will clinch first place. Always Ready need a win and a loss by Lanús to clinch third. In the other match, Lanús hosts Mirassol. A draw would be to the benefit of both teams. So could we see a non-aggression path of Lanús? Probably unlikely, but it's going to be really interesting to see how that match develops given results elsewhere. And finally in Group H, where everything has been confirmed, we know that Independiente del Valle and Rosario Central will be in the last 16. We know that Universidad Central will be in the Sudamericana, and we know that Libertad will finish in fourth place. So the only match of any importance in the group is IDV hosting Rosario Central. The winner will finish in first place. A draw means that Rosario Central will finish in first place. Libertad and Universidad Central are playing to complete play in Group H. So those are the 8 groups where things stand and where the permutations are. And if I would choose groups for my featured matches of the week, definitely Group D and possibly Groups B and C. But we'll see where things shake out in the group stage to decide which other groups to focus in on other than Group D. And a reminder that this week, you can follow all 16 matches on either Fanatis, Fubo Sports, or YouTube, where the radio broadcast will be streamed. If you don't have Fanatis, Soccer Down Here has a great offer for you. Go to fntz.co/soccerdownhere to subscribe. Got a comment or a question about this podcast or about the Libertadores? Send them to my X handle at Soccermetrics. You can also send questions or comments to @SoccerDownHere or to Jason Longshore at Longshoe. This show is also distributed on YouTube and Facebook, and you can follow the conversations there. I'll be back later in the week to recap Matchday 6 and tell you who will be moving on to the knockout stage and who will be going elsewhere. This has been the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show, proudly part of the SDH network. See you later. Hasta luego, and até mais.